So, you got your eyes set on a car that's for sale in Germany, but before you buy it, you want to make sure that you know how you can actually export the car back to your own country. Well, there are two ways that you can do that. First way is to actually just get a trailer, put the car on and tow it back home like that. Or the second way is to actually get license plates for export, like these that's on my car here, and drive the car home yourself and immediately put it to the test. Well, if this is actually something you want to do, then this video is for you. So I'm living in Belgium, and this is actually the fourth time that I exported a car from Germany back to Belgium. But it's the third time that I did so by using export license plates. Now, there's not so much information to be found on the internet on how exactly this process works. Of course, you can find some basics on where to go and etc. But I must say, out of experience, every single time it was slightly different than before. So in this video, I want to try to cover as much as possible of what you need, how to prepare yourself, and to make sure that this is not a day for stress, but just a relaxed drive back home. So to acquire these license plates in Germany, there are actually two places that you will need to go to. One is the KFZ Zulassungstelle, and the other place is a shop where they make these license plates. Now, the first step that you want to do is actually make sure that you have all the papers of the car, or at least that you know that you will have all the papers of the car before you take any steps. You will need the registration, the last registration in Germany, which usually exists out of two parts. Here's an example. This is, for example, the first part of mine, and then here a second part. So make sure that you have both. This is very, very important in both cases. You also will need a sales agreement that you have between you and the seller of the car. Make sure that you also have the latest TÜV. It's like the technical control that they have in Germany, where they check up the car. So you need to make sure you have that as well. And depending on the age of your car, you will also need a certificate of conformity, or the COC as they call it. If it's an older vehicle, like for example this one, in my case I have a Fahrzeugbrief. So that's a official document also that is part of the car. If you don't have a certificate of conformity, then this is the one they might ask you for. Also, don't forget to bring your ID card. So if you're sure that you have all the papers and everything will be okay in that regard, then you're ready for the next step. The next step is actually to find out where in the local area you can find a KFZ Zulassungstelle and where the shop for the license plates is. The good thing is that if you have found one of those two, you usually will easily find the second one, because they're always close to each other, either next to each other or across the street or anything like that. So that's definitely not something to stress about. Now, the first place that you will want to go is actually the shop where they make these license plates. So once you have found the shop where they create the license plates, you will then go in and you can explain them that you just bought a German car and that you are looking for plates to export the car. First thing that they will ask is to give them the registration papers of the car, the latest ones. They also want you to show your ID card, so make sure you have that with you as well. And they might also ask for the TÜV document. Now, the first thing we want to do is to decide for which period of time you actually want to get these export plates. If I'm not mistaken, there are two or three options, because I'm not sure, because I always went with the same option. But you can usually get it for 2 weeks or 4 weeks. And I always get it for 4 weeks, because that makes sure that you have all the time in the world to schedule everything at home as well. So it's easiest to just decide upfront how long you want to use these export license plates for. Now, once you've decided that, you will have to get the insurance. Getting an insurance to drive your car back home is the main reason why you first go to the license plate store. Because you will also need to show and provide the acquired insurance when you go to the KFZ Zulassungstelle. Now that you have acquired the insurance for the car, make sure to bring that with you and go to the KFZ Zulassungstelle. Now, for me, if you want to have an idea how much the insurance costs, in my case it was €186. So now that you have acquired the insurance for the license plates and the car, you're ready for the next step. Just keep in mind that at this point you won't have the license plates yet. You first now need to go to the KFZ Zulassungstelle. Now, depending on where you are in Germany, it could be that you are required to make an appointment there. So make sure to check that up front. However, and I made sure to test this out for you guys, the good thing is that you can also just go in line and wait for your turn, and they will help you as soon as they have an available spot. But of course, this might take a bit longer than when you would have an appointment. So once you're there, make sure that you brought all the documents. Your ID card, the registration of the car, the latest TUV. You also need to bring the COC or the Fahrzeugbrief. Also make sure that you brought the insurance that you just got from the license plate store, and every other document that you might have of the car. Just take it with you just in case that they ask for it. So the KFZ Zulassungstelle is actually like a vehicle registration and deregistration authority, and people go there to register, deregister their car. So keep in mind that it might take some time for all the paperwork to be done. This step usually goes very easy. However, I must say that depending on where you are in Germany, the rules and how things are done might slightly differ. And for me, with this car, it was much harder to get everything done compared to the other cars I had done so far. So I want to make sure to go through the whole process of how I did it with this car, so that you guys don't encounter any surprises and might be prepared for what I had. So usually what you need to do, you just provide them with all the papers that they ask for. They enter everything in their computer, they ask you to sign some things, and you're ready to roll. And something that I didn't mention in the video yet is that when you go to either the license plate stores or you go to the KFZ Zulassungstelle, you don't need to bring the car that you just bought. Well, I arrived there, I did all the paperwork, and then suddenly the person at the counter said to me like, "So where's the car?" I said like, "Yeah, it's still at the seller's place." "Okay, but we need to see the car." I turned all red and thought like, "Oh, what do you mean you need to see the car? It's like the third time I'm doing this. It never was something I had to do." "Yeah, well, here it is the rules. We need to see the car. We need to double check the VIN number that this is actually the car that you bought and this is actually the car that you will export. We need to make sure that it matches with the papers and all the documents that you provide here. That is actually that car that you're taking." Okay, look, it's totally fine, I understand that, but just make sure, keep in mind that this might be something that they ask for. How to solve this is actually quite easy. They will just provide all the information, and then you will be able to go back. They will give you a document, you will have to sign it. You will have to go back to the export license plates shop. And with that paper, they will actually already make your license plates, but the only difference will be that this sticker here won't be on it. And without the sticker, these license plates are actually not official. However, the document that you just got from the lady at the counter or the person at the counter, doesn't matter, is actually a proof that you can drive with these license plates from wherever the car is back to their place. So if in the worst case you would be stopped by the police, you can provide that document and explain the situation. The other thing that happened to me this time could actually be a bigger issue for a lot of people, because suddenly they asked me what's my address in Germany. I said like, I don't have an address in Germany, because that's also why I want to export the car. I'm Belgian, I bought this car here and I want to bring it back home. "Oh, but you need a German address, or you need to be able to provide a German address, because if, for example, you are driving over the speed limit and a camera flashes you and we need to send the fine, we don't send the fine outside of Germany. So we need a German address so that if a fine comes in, we can send it to that address." So yeah, what do you do in that case? Well, just make sure again that you are prepared, and in worst case, if they ask for that, because for me that was also again the very first time that this happened, if they ask that, just make sure that you are prepared and that you have already asked the seller if in the worst case this is something they want to be responsible for. And by responsible, I mean that they are willing to provide their address and take the responsibility for you driving the car back home. If they do, then they will have to provide a copy of their ID card. They will also have to fill in a document that they are taking the responsibility. To fill in the document, of course, they don't need to come with you, but the people at the KFZ Zulassungstelle, or however you pronounce it, sorry, I'm not German, they will provide the document, then they email the document to the person. They just fill it in, that can be digital, send it back. But that's a very important thing to keep in mind, because they told me if I could not provide an address or anyone in Germany who was willing to take the responsibility and provide their details to do this, I was not able to export the car with these license plates. This honestly really shocked me. Look, I understand, I see where they're coming from. I do not understand why they would not just be able to send the fine to my address in Belgium that I just showed on all the documents. But yeah, look, they said these are new rules. I don't know how long, because in 2023 I did the exact same thing. This was not asked, this was not a requirement, and now apparently 2024, this was mid-November. So apparently the rules have changed. It might depend on where you are in Germany. I think the rules can differ depending on the district, but please just keep it in mind that this might be a situation that you encounter. If it's not the seller that want to provide their information and take responsibility, maybe there's somebody else that you know in Germany. It could be a family member or just someone, a friend or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as it's someone in Germany who's willing to do it for you. That would be awesome. So this is the biggest struggle that you actually can encounter when it comes to exporting a car and driving it home yourself. So when all of that is done, you're ready to go back to the license plate store, and in case that you actually want to see the car, you go there, you ask for them to create the plates, you get the plates, you put them on the car that you bought, and you go back, if needed, to the KFZ Zulassungstelle. The only thing that they will want to do is check where the VIN number is of your car. So make sure that you already know up front where it's located. They don't want the small plate that's on the car where the VIN is located. It really has to be on the chassis of the car. And once that's done and everything checks out, they will just give you the sticker, and they will put the sticker on both license plates, front and back. And once you have this, well, then you're ready to go. For those of you who are interested in this car, this is my new to me BMW E30 325i. It's from 1986. The exterior color is Aschatgrün, or yeah, I don't know what's the name in English, but this is how it is in German. And it has also some nice green fabric interior. I definitely plan on featuring this car on the channel. The next video will be me washing this car, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And I'll definitely also do a lot of small projects and other improvements to the car to make sure that it drives even better. If you have any comments and questions, just leave them in the comments below. Bye guys, see you next time.